The doctors never give you this full answer, yeah, you will never walk again, or things will not get better, right? So you kind of have that hope in the back of your mind that things could change. I look at now, it seems like yesterday. You know, the time kind of went by so fast. It happened in 1996, December 6, on the way back from Whistler on a highway. The driver lost control of the car, ended up going under a logging truck that was parked on the side. The roof of our car collapsed and I hit it, my head on the top of the roof and compressed my spine. It left me with C5, C6, complete paralysis. I ended up being at VGH for a good 3 months before I was able to move to GF Strong, the rehab center. I was hoping things will get better, but not much has changed since then when it comes to movement and my physical improvement. WCB was involved in the claim because I was still on the clock from my employee for our travel back to Vancouver after work from Whistler.
When Piotr was first injured, he was provided with a wheelchair-accessible van, never with the intention that he would be able to drive. So he always had either a caregiver or a family member drive that vehicle for him, and he would ride as a passenger.
So for first a good 17 years, my attendants were primary drivers. So, when it came to like shopping, going places, I was just a passenger. I met my girlfriend, Nicole, 3 years before my accident. So we started dating. Nicole and we got married 2002. After a few years, we decided to expand the family, have kids. Through IVF, my wife was able to get pregnant and we have 2 beautiful children. 2013, my marriage dissolved. That was kind of probably the scariest time because I didn't know what to do. My son was 9 there at that time, my daughter was 5. By relying on other people as driving me, I didn't have any flexibility or true independence. I called WCB and basically told them that I'm interested in driving.
Piotr has a very high level injury, and I would have never expected that there would be any possibility for him to get back to driving. But if anybody was going to find a way to do it, Piotr would find a way to do it. I had to reach out to GF Strong and to Dean Robertson, who's a certified driver rehab specialist who used to work at GF Strong, to find out whether or not this was even a possibility for him to return to driving.
As a certified driver rehab specialist, I work with people with disabilities, and I either assess them for their driver fitness or for their vehicle needs. I then mentioned to him that I was aware of a system that could allow him to be a driver. And I think he got more excited about it at that time.
It's a 4-way joystick, so basically everything is in the joystick. The acceleration, the brakes, and the steering.
I not only did his driving evaluation to make sure that he was the appropriate candidate for the system, but then I also became his driving instructor when I taught him how to drive using the joystick driving system. It actually took a 6-month process. We started in an empty parking lot and just started with steering the vehicle. And then I introduced braking, then I introduced acceleration, then we transferred to more sort of commercial, suburban, urban areas, and then, highway, freeway, downtown, parking lots, parallel parking. Many people, even if they have their driver's license, find it difficult to parallel park. Imagine what it would be like to learn to parallel park using just a single joystick.
And finally, I was ready enough to get my driver license, and then just kind of went from there. Slow steps, but we got there. In my car, that's the only place that I feel fully independent. I get in there and I just feel, like anybody else. Especially with my children, just kind of gives me so much more flexibility, kind of not being on a schedule, kind of being more independent for them, for myself. Picking up my daughter, the 15 minutes driving with her from her school to my son's school, she tells me things that she never did before about her friends, music that she listens. It was kind of an eye-opening. It's like, wow, that's great.
That's probably the most rewarding part of my job, is when I see these people that have gone from just severe injuries and they've gotten back to life and they've gotten back to activities that they love to do, or even as simple as getting back to driving. It's amazing how many doors it opens up and how much independence that then gives them. I think it would be amazing for a lot of people to have that independence that Piotr now has to get back to driving. And I think if the technology is now starting to catch up, we'll see it much more.
I cannot say enough thank you. I think, Claire and those other people that were involved in that, WCB was super, work with, helpful, and things were just amazing.
The real thing I see when injured workers are able to become independent with their driving again, you get to decide when you're going to leave home, where you're going to go, who you're going to go visit, and really helps injured workers psychologically gain their self-esteem again.
The whole experience made me open my eyes that, even doesn't matter about my disability, I can still do a lot of things. Maybe even going back to work or finding something that I could, do and see how it goes. It's not the end of the world, as they say. Life is good.